Hello. Oh, hold on. It's not catching my camera. It won't be long. What's going on with this? That is curious. But how's it going, everyone? It'll just be a short moment while I restart my camera and get this show going. I apologize about this. That should be on. Anyway, in the meantime, how's everyone going tonight? That should yield a result. Huh. Just a little technical problem. Camera source is busy. I'm gonna disconnect it and reconnect it. My apologies about this technical difficulty. And we're on. Magic. So, hello Meg, hello Chris, nice to see you guys tonight. So, tonight I just wanted to do a open mic. Talk about some stuff that's going on in the world of Stadia and all that's surrounding. So, very nice conversation going there. Fancy space age tech. Yeah, just found some actually for the chat, it's just a little plugin that's really useful. So if you ever need the link, I can shoot it to you. It's no problem. It works really well. So yeah, doing pretty well. Thank you. I can actually use. I just did that like at the last second, very quickly. Like I've been talking about doing open mic for a while. So why not start? Actually, that's not the one I want. That's okay. Just bear with me. And enter broadcast studio. Okay. Excellent. So I'll be able to highlight these. Wait, did I put it here? Window capture. StreamYard. Should be there. Should almost be there. Shouldn't be this big and shouldn't be on that scale. Hold on. Old magic trick that I did that's not working too well. Should have planned this a bit more, but other than this, what's going on with you guys? There we go. So there's some news I wanted to talk about. It came, well, not really some news, but some stuff we found out about Cyberpunk. They released a gameplay trailer this week. Was it yesterday or the day before? And man, it's gorgeous. It shows in 4K and it is very fluid. Now, the big question about this is it actual gameplay footage from Stadia? Because according to YouTube, it does look like that's what it's going to be. Chris, I only now realize that Doug is in a tunnel. Turn on and off and plug in out of magic. Yeah. What's that about the dog in a tunnel? Just reading the chat to catch on. Hmm. Oh, you're talking about his profile picture. pop on now. Yep. Now that you're talking about it, it's the first time I realized that it is a dog coming out of a tunnel. That's better. Is it your dog at least, or it just took a random picture like that? Anyway, so yeah, I only saw a few little parts of that Cyberpunk 2077 trailer. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know yet if it's actual footage captured from Stadia. The title of the video does seem to indicate so. I'm just gonna try to not make too much wind in my microphone with this. Yes, he was in a perfect circle, which is perfect for YouTube. Disclaimer, not my dog. So you put somebody else's dog. That's fine. So yeah, we don't have the full details as to whether or not it is taken captured on Stadia, but the title does seem to indicate so. Like if we go Stadia's YouTube page here, I will switch the screen. So yeah, it's already here. Get out of here. Without starting it, sorry about this. So Cyberpunk 2077 official gameplay trailer, Stadia. So is it just simply a gameplay trailer that they've shown and they say it's coming to Stadia, or if it's the Stadia footage that we're seeing there, which is pretty peculiar. And hello, little tortilla boy. How's it going, sub brother? Nice seeing you here. Welcome to my channel. You've been here before. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so yeah, if we look at this, it really looks good. But there's a lot of cutscenes in there, so it's really hard to make out what is gameplay, what is cutscenes. Like this is actual gameplay, and it looks much better than what's been shown on the PlayStation and on the Xbox. So this is why it's really hard to determine whether it is Stadia or not. So I'm really curious. Like I'm really impatient of December 10th to come so we can actually see the official version on Stadia what it'll look like, because what they're showing us right now is out of this world. Like I'm pretty sure we'd struggle to get that kind of graphics out of a RTX 30 series. So it's really looking too good to be true, but we're gonna have to see. They have been posting these gameplay trailer on all platform. Unfortunately, I'm not sold because it's gameplay. That's a question I've got. They're showing that it looks really good, but it's the thing is that just been posted yesterday, and it's a few days after they did the posts for PlayStation and Xbox on the systems, and they announced it as Stadia, and they say gameplay in it. So whether it shows it's actually the Stadia gameplay, how it will look like, I have some doubts, but it could happen if they actually decide to do like the elastic computing of having multiple instances working together. Then it would be possible to attain that kind of graphic. But is the tech ready? Not sure. So I saw that the game might drop for us early on the 9th, just like for Steam. It's actually not early. It's on the date that they said it would drop. But the thing with that is it's dropping at midnight GMT. So at Greenwich time. And when that happens, like over here, I'm in the Atlantic. So that'll be at 8 p.m. over here or 7 p.m. Eastern time. So everyone in the world will be getting it at the same time from what it looks like. Like if we look at the store, what was that? Okay, that's weird that it wasn't responding, but if I go in the store, Cyberpunk, it should still show the same. Yeah. So 8 p.m. over here, since it changed, it hasn't come back to what it was before. So yeah, yeah, the pre-order page updated for me too. Oh wait, is it 8 p.m.? Yeah, it's 8 p.m. over here, Meg. So that's the thing. Yeah, you hate you hate 24-hour time. Yeah, it works well AM PM. So fun thing with that is 8 p.m. is the actual time I normally go online for streaming. So that falls in the perfect window for me. So yeah, normally 6:30 I give the bath to my son, and then we proceed to give him the bottle, put him in bed. Then at 8 I'm free. I can go live and do some streaming. So yeah, Eddie, for you it'll be at 7 p.m. For yours says 20. What? Wait, I'm gonna check something. Might just be Stadia Enhanced because that's something I took from Eddie. I'm using Stadia Enhanced. And no, still showing 8 p.m., so it's not the extension. So refresh again. 11 days, yep. That's coming really soon. So we're going to get this game extremely soon. And yeah, if we just look at this video, that's the one for Stadia, but then again, that's the standard footage. Yeah, it's exactly the same one. So it's what they're showing to showcase the game on Stadia, but it doesn't say if it's Stadia footage or not. But damn it, if it is, I see a lot of people selling their PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series. Oh, I'm not showing you the footage. Yeah, if you go on a page, there's a video, and it's exactly the same video that I was showing you earlier. So if the game actually ends up looking like this on Stadia, I see a lot of people selling their PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X because it is one of the reasons people are going to next gen is in part games like this one. So if it looks better on this than on those new gen consoles, people are going to flip. So especially for a system that's available for free. So yeah, pre-order and play instantly when it's expected at launch December 9th. Yeah, exactly. Watch LOL around a couple days until launch. We get a troll post saying it's delayed until Q3 2021. Yeah, they said it won't happen anymore, that now the game is ready. Finally ready to go and all that. I'll have to see. Hey, Ralph Halley, how's it going? What's up, everyone? Mr. 1030 is here, lol. Glad to join you all. Nice to see you, Ralph. And Zorkis is in the house as well. Mine says December 9th, 4 p.m. So it all depends on your time zone. So 4 p.m., I'm pretty sure you're in West Coast. So, no, 4 p.m. Yeah, you would be West Coast there. So, sup, Ralph? Oh my God, why am I allowed to suffer with 24-hour time? LOL, Google. Pretty sure it would be in your account settings. Like, if I go to check Stadia settings, I don't know where it was, but I'm pretty sure there was something about showing how the time shows. Might actually be your Google settings and not necessarily in Stadia. So even the time looks like Xbox One X and last gen port still going to look good. Yeah, the Xbox and PlayStation version are still going to play well. It's just that PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are actually going to get the last gen version that's just upscaled because it's a better machine. So they're going to do some patches for the games to take advantage of the extra power it has, but it's still downgraded to run on last gen. They're not going to get the newer version until later next year. You game on Stadia, you on my friend list already, bro. Don't recall seeing the name before. Huh. No idea, my dude. Okay, just catching on the chat. So in Illinois, it says 6 p.m. And Dre Power, how's it going, man? Nice to see you here. We'll check. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if it's not in the Stadia settings, it would be in your Google account settings because a lot of stuff in Stadia is actually linked to your Google setting, like your family share. You do activate your family share within Stadia, but it's a Google setting, so you have to go to your Google account to set it up. Global lunch, midnight GMT. Yeah, if it doesn't change, Chase did tell me that something similar happened when they launched. I believe it was NBA 2K21 that it showed GMT time, and then it reverted back to like one time zone after the other, like at a certain times of the day. So I personally feel personally I want him to keep it like midnight GMT, and I personally feel that this would be the best way of doing it. That way, especially like for content creators, for example, well, having the game earlier is kind of an edge. And so anyone who's having the game like in Europe, where they are at the GMT time zone, would be the first to broadcast a game. And also for just anyone's like, just give it, if you're unlocking the game, just give it to everyone at the same time. It's much better that way. It can have an impact on servers and all that, but then again, it's geolocalized. Like we're not gonna get the same thing, the same feed as servers in Europe, and West Coast is not gonna be getting the same servers as well. So there's no logistic reason to delay it so that every time zone would reach the time. So just launch it. It'll work better this way. So yeah, so that's some exciting news for Cyberpunk. Really curious to see. Hey, Hell Monkey, how's it going? So I'm really curious to see if it's gonna be. Well, the trailer is 4K, but is the game gonna be 4K? That if it was 1080p, I could live with it, but I really hope it's 60 frames per second. Or what I'm hoping even more, if they're not able to give us 4K 60, is that they give us a performance option or a graphic option, like we got with Avengers. So you can either choose to have 4K or to have it's either 1080p or just not as smooth graphic, but you get your 60 frame per second, which it feels better when you're playing. So you guys thinking we're gonna see about 25 game release this month along with a Ubisoft Plus? I'm thinking that it might be or more. Ubisoft is gonna get release some game, quite a few games this month for sure, like all the Assassin's Creed and the Watch Dogs game, and there were some other games that were supposed to come. That'll give us a few games, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had some surprises like the Mafia games that are coming. We don't know when it's coming out, but they've just been rated for Stadia. There's quite a few titles on the way, and they promise like I think from what they were saying, like I think we're supposed to reach about 135 title at the end of the year. So there should be a lot of games coming out this month. Has to be minimum 60 frame per second for me. Yeah, I understand you on this. Uh, since it's a RPG, I would be okay with 30 frames. It's not like Far Cry 5. That game being at 30 frame per second is a nuisance, really. It's not good because that's a shooter. That's what the game is. You're in rapid action, you're shooting. That's what the game is built on, and there's yes, there is some RPG element, but it's mostly a shooter. As for Cyberpunk, you have to think about it. This game really is more like Skyrim, but like Cyber Skyrim that I'm saying. It's strongly built on an RPG skeleton. It actually comes from a series of books like Cyberpunk 2020, which is built exactly like Dungeons and Dragons. So those are tabletop games that you have like you have your character sheet that you'll put in your stats yourself and you'll calculate like okay, I've got this perk, I can use this weapon and all this. So they built the game on using those rules, but not as much as Baldur's Gate 3 that just came out earlier this year. That one is built on a Dungeons and Dragon 5th edition, and they tried to take those books as much as possible and make a game out of it. Cyberpunk, they went more like, okay, this is a RPG. We're gonna retain a lot of mechanic from the tabletop Dungeon and Dragon, but since it's more of a like a Delaric City, like everything gone to chaos and all that, and people have guns and all that, they took a bit of freedom making more action game, but it's gonna feel more like Skyrim. So you're gonna choose your skills, your ability points at the beginning of the game. And I saw some videos where they confirmed that, well, someone confirmed that you will have some skills that will level up as you use them. So, like if you're using a lot of handguns, you will have a score for your handgun, and the more people you shoot, the more targets you hit, your handgun skills are gonna rank up, and it'll allow you to get more perks for the handguns. Of course, the ability points you put at the beginning of the game will help you to be better at handguns or whatever stats that you're looking for. But it's really, the more you do something, the better you'll be at it. And it's like you got strength that will help you like carry more stuff around, lift heavier things, and it will help you in melee combat. You've got some, I don't remember the name by hearts, but there's like agility for skills like handguns and all that. And one of the skills that you have available is the cool, and that's not like street creds. The cool is your ability to keep a cool head while in stressful situation. And to talk about it more like for lockpicking, doing some hacking and all that. Hacking will be more like intellect, but some part of it will use cool, and also assassination. So if you're assassinating a target, you need your cool to be able to execute that. Has anyone decided what they're going to start as? Nomad, Street Kid, or Corporate? I'm going Nomad. Myself, I'm thinking, at least for my first character, I want to do maybe a Black Widow type character from Marvel. So I'm gonna go with a corporate female. So it's just an idea. I was trying to choose what character would be cool in that universe. And I think if I think about Black Widow, I think she would be perfect for that kind of universe. So that's what I'm not 100% decided on it, but I think that's what I'm gonna start with for my first character. But yeah, as you get better with any skills that you're using, it allows you to get more perks towards that skill, and you got a big skill tree that you have available for it. So it will be very interesting to see how that game turns out. I'm really excited about it. So corporate would be my second choice. Yep. So basically, whichever you choose, nomad, street kid, or corporate, changes the background of your character and the prologue. So yeah, if you choose nomad, you start in the outskirts of a night city, so you're more in the desert. It's like post-apocalyptic. There's been war. It's like almost more like Mad Max. So it's very interesting. Like everyone living there have beat up vehicles and guns and all that, and they fix everything themselves. So the result is their cars are not as fast, but they're much sturdier, and they get all kind of skill to bootleg, do some stuff like rigging electricity and all that. So it has a big impact on whatever equipment you find that is from the nomad background. Street kid, it's the guy who lived in the street in the city. So you street smart, you have some connection around the city. And corporate, it says that you're in a corporate lifestyle. It dictates your life. You have access to fancier stuff and all that, and you have the pressure of society of succeeding, where there is a lot of treason that it's everyone for themselves. So it brings an interesting dynamic because every single background that you choose gives you a different dialogue option throughout the game. Going nomad, okay, hell monkey. I'm going nomad to begin with. It's, I believe everyone will gain from trying all three. And I wouldn't even be surprised if after selecting whether you're going nomad or if you're going corporate or street kid, that you might actually have more choices that you can do that actually have an impact on the story. I know gender won't be one of them because you actually don't have a gender in the game. That's one of the things they came out with. It's like you can choose your genitals, you can choose the look your character has, but you're not choosing a specific gender. You're just making your character in whatever you want it to be, male, female, somewhere in between, nowhere in between. It's all up to you. But you don't specify, okay, I'm making a male character, I'm making a female character. So that's something different you have from other games. The gender doesn't impact the story at all because your gender is not set in stone at the beginning of the game. So as you're making your character, you're making whatever you want. But yeah, you have the background for whatever you choose, and there might be some option to give you at the beginning that might have further impact. So we don't know. But already those three options are from what they demonstrated. They're changing a lot of stuff in the game. So, like for example, possible love interests. Like if you're corporate, like there was one mission that they showed that you had to contact someone that was giving you a quest to go find like that spider robot thing. Well, that person that you meet, the thing, the character, you could either just approach them and talk to them or attack them to try to get something from them. But that person is from the corporate world, and only if you're a corporate character do you have the option to actually seduce them and get closer to them. If you're a street kid or a nomad, that character will just like rebuff you and be not interested at all. Like, do you have no possible way of approaching them and getting intimate with them, because to them, if you're not from their world, they have no interest at all, and there's nothing that can get through to them. So a lot of characters in the game will have like dialogue arcs that will be modified in this way, so that'll be interesting to see. Love interest would be the working people of the night. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's one of the thing in the game. You have brothels that like Moxie's place, and so it's a nightclub that doubles up as a brothel. And you can actually, you've got a quest line with them that you can actually be allied to them, or it can be just a customer to the place, to the establishment. So they really went deep in this game to like there's a bunch of nightclubs that each have their own stories, and that's one of the fun thing. The guy who wrote the rule book for Cyberpunk 2020 and all the story, I do not remember his name, but he actually met with the people over at CD Project Red, and he talked to them about like all those nightclubs that are in his books, like Moxie and the I don't remember the name. There's another one I was looking at the other day, but I don't remember the name. But he actually based every single one of those venues on real world venues in Europe. Uh, and he actually took the staff that was working on the game, like the main staff. He actually took him out on a night out drinking in each of these clubs, so they get familiar with the original material that inspired him for writing his books. So the Moxie is a real club that he put into his game, and it's not a world's end. There's another anyway. Every single venues in a game have real world counterparts, and the people making CD Projekt Red, the people making the game, went to those places, took the aura of the place in, like studied it, and recreated it in the game. So they're not just going off written material, they've been to the places, which is crazy. So it talks about the quality the game can have. So I'm really excited for this. So is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about Cyberpunk or any other subjects? Oh, one thing I want to talk about that's not related to Cyberpunk at all, but I'll actually look if I can find the news. See, very possibly interesting news for Stadia. Um, look, they started rolling out on certain smart TVs 8K for YouTube. So I'm just gonna look for the article for reference. Uh, yeah, like if you guys look, so YouTube has flipped the switch. Is that? No, that's not even the article. Okay, they started doing that a while ago, but they just increased the compatibility. I can find the article. It just came out today that a bunch of smart TVs uh, that do support 8K now got the switch turned on today or yesterday. Anyway, this week they got the switch flipped on so that they could start streaming 8K on YouTube, which is very interesting for Stadia because Stadia has shown their goal is to eventually reach 8K and to reach 120 frames per second. So some Stadia users now have an option on their profile to upload an image to use as an avatar. I've seen something about this that you can now use your own avatar. But yeah, if we're talking about the 8K for YouTube, what it gives for Stadia is that every single time they make advances for YouTube, that's what Stadia is using. Every single codex has to go through YouTube first, then Stadia can start using it. Because Stadia is running off like the same technology YouTube is running off. So if we get 8K on YouTube running and it works well on smart TVs and all of this, that means that the availability of it is increasing. So it's not just on browser for certain like you don't have to jump through hoops anymore to get it. It's now more readily available. And specifically, what interests me about this is if you get 8K running at 60 frames per second, normally with the same technology you can get 4K running, but at 120 frames per second. So it's always like you step up the resolution, frame rate increase for the resolutions under. And the 120 frame per second is really the one I'm interested in personally, because the higher the frame rate for a video game, the better it will look. The like they've shown plenty of times. 60 frame per second is perfect for most users, but increasing from 60 to 120 frame per second will actually help the player's reaction time in some cases, especially for esports players. So if we get 120 frame per second on Stadia, knowing that we have the internet latency to deal with and all this, it'll be a little extra to make the games feel more uh, direct, to remove all latency as much as possible. So that's pretty interesting. So exactly, literally, that's what people don't understand about Stadia. It's part of this massive infrastructure that offers so much more than one dedicated media. They have to go through a lot to get something approved for Stadia. That's why we don't have crowd play right now and some of those features. They have to implement it with YouTube. So they might be able to get a feature working on Stadia, just Stadia. But then the button has to be somewhere, and it's not just something you put in a link in the text. It has to be on YouTube because that's how they advertise the feature. So they have to work hand in hand with YouTube, and we don't know. Like I know there's one of the directors over YouTube that expressed that he likes working for game streaming and all that. It represent a big part of his revenues and all that. When there was the big Alex Hutchinson tweet drama, but as for Stadia, we don't know how fast they are to respond to any of their demands. Like if they update them with stuff, if they immediately follow suit, or if they just put it on a pile and it's like we'll take care of it eventually. And so hopefully, if it's the case, it's something that gets addressed soon because they need to be one and the same. Like they should combine almost YouTube and Stadia together. Like at least make them work in the same building for the technical team because they really need to be unified together for all this to work. So Yeah, if we could get 120 frame per second, it would be another step to make the games feel so much more fluid. It's already very good right now. Like we just got Jedi Fallen Order. It's playing at 60 frame per second. And not just that, latency on the game is extremely low and the graphics are looking very impressive on it. So it's a gorgeous game. If you guys haven't tried it, like I don't know if the sale is still on. I won't be able to see it because I already bought the game. But at the price it went down to for Black Friday or just for the release, it's an amazing game. Like it's totally worth it. So yeah, and that bodes really well for Stadia's collaboration with EA. Hey Ray, how's it going, man? Nice to see you here. So yeah, it's one more step to make the games play fluid. And also the not too long ago, well, a few weeks ago, there's Justin Uberi went on Twitter to talk about an update they did on the controller to improve latency on it. So if you guys haven't heard about it, he referred to NVIDIA Reflex to explain how what they did pretty much. Oh my god, it's our ray of sunshine. Yep. Always happy to see Ray. Always brings a smile to my face. So what he explains is that basically uh, they use the technology similar to what NVIDIA Reflex used to for games running at 360 frame per second on like super powered PC. So instead of having like the game running on the CPU that then does a request to the GPU and then it goes like through the hard drive and all. Well, it goes through the hard drive to the CPU to the GPU to the monitor and all this, and it's just like a straight line. That actually brings to get everything together connected more directly. The moment there's something going on somewhere, every single part of the system is made aware of it and reacts immediately to it. And what they were able to do is like make every single like the mouse and the keyboard, the entries as late as possible in the frame so that when you get a new frame on your screen that the information is as recent as possible for your movements and all of this. And it's a bunch of magic they work with kind of to make latency as small as possible. Yeah, you can definitely tell the latency is better because the Dead by Daylight drop, it hurts to play during those skill checks. Now it's just like I'm playing on console. Exactly, that's the objective of what they've been working with. So they took something that was meant for gaming at 360 frame per second for a system that right now is running at 60 frame per second cap and sometimes at 30 frames per second, depending on the game. But even though there are some games that do run over 60 frame per second within the Stadia blades, but we don't have access to those frame rates yet. So it's all the video encoder that brings them down to 60 frame per second. But yeah, there's been vast improvements. Like, I don't know if you guys played Destiny 2 when Stadia came out, and right now, it's not the same at all. They've made vast improvements. Like, when it came out, playing mouse and keyboard was very difficult with it. It's like it was a controller game on Stadia. And controller felt good, but mouse and keyboard was a bit wobbly. Like, you could feel the latency in there. Right now, I've got a pretty good computer, and if I played on my computer and then on Stadia, I might be able to tell a bit of a difference, but it would be very marginal, like barely. Like just playing on Stadia, like I don't feel like latency is hurting me at all on it. Like it's very fast. I do a rapid movement and it shows on the screen and it's very precise. Just got to be online and it's so much better now. Exactly, Hell Monkey. The graphics improved. I could swear sometimes it looks like there's full on ray tracing on there. Uh, it's just very gorgeous, and the controls are amazing. Like mouse and keyboard works for it, and it works really well. It's like it's always been like that for the Division 2. It always worked well for mouse and keyboard on it, even though I think it improved a bit lately. But Destiny 2 just joined a club of games that runs real well on Stadia mouse and keyboard, so that's amazing. Uh, what I don't remember what else I wanted to talk about. I really decided at last minute I wanted to hop in and do this. Oh, and there's. Uh, I wanted to show. Yeah, I'll do it at another night. I want to do eventually like just a display of my setup, how I'm doing my streams, so people see like what I have running. Actually, I could do it right now. Hold on, won't be long. I'll actually show you guys a bit of magic. Yep. So I've got a program here. It's called OBS Ninja. It's actually a website and not really a program. And I can go like, got my name here. So put that here. No, that's not what I want to do. Add a group chat. So you can go in there and create a room for doing a group chat. So I'm gonna use the same name I had. I'm gonna put a password. Wait, I'm gonna move this so you guys don't see it, so you don't sneak in on my live stream. So if I go on there, where's my phone? So I can actually, that's how I want to use my phone. Was having an issue with Destiny on my PC, got frustrated, switched to Stadia, runs just as good, minus the PC ability to adjust settings. Yeah, that's the thing with Stadia. You don't have to worry about anything. Like you're just going in a game, all the updates are done, all the compatibility with the hardware is done, drivers and all that. I love it for this. So it won't be long. I'm just gonna do something magical. Go join the room. Okay, audio source, no audio. Should be popping there. Maybe I didn't do the right thing. Anyway, it allows me to use my cell phone as a camera. So do I have the right one? Should be in there. Yeah, just gonna, doesn't seem to want to work right now with those settings. I'm gonna put another name. So basically I'll be able to put in OBS my cell phone's camera without it being physically connected, which I think is pretty awesome. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it won't be long. Okay. Capital S. In the meantime, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? Not asking me for my password, which is curious. Okay, I'll cancel that for now because it doesn't look like it want to work. Anyway, using this software here, I was able to do it the other day, but there's something I'm forgetting how to do. Might need to use a manual link, but you can basically take any cell phone or any other devices, or you can share that with someone else. And instead of using StreamYard, you can use this and put your camera in there and the audio in OBS using a browser source. And it works really well when, when you can actually figure it out. But it's been a few days since I used it. And I only actually used it once. So, but it did a pretty good result. That's what I use for Stadia Super Saturday. Dead by Daylight is so much better on Stadia versus Xbox. Are you doing the comment picking? How I'm doing this? I got on another page here, got StreamYard open, and I've got the chat set up. And within OBS, I've got like some windows on the side. Yeah, I don't care about this. So I can actually. Yeah, this one was supposed to actually be for banners. I need to put it larger for this. Okay. So this one normally I would put in the banners. So yeah, like this. And I'm actually doing a window capture. And I crop this down. So right now, should have this there. Not sure why it's not showing it. Because if I go on another page, all kind of stuff are not working right now for some reason. Anyway, so I'm able to actually have this showing up on there. Like, yeah, that's not working right now. And I just crop around and remove the background color, and it just shows on there. So anyway, that was a secret for it, but I need to get back into OBS and do a bit more work for this to work properly. Hey, Squid, how's it going, man? And Spectrum as well. Yeah, I missed a few comments in the chat. So yeah, someday I'm just gonna go through my whole setup again just to be sure everything works perfectly. That I don't have any bugs like this. I'm actually gonna do a live stream that I'm actually gonna go through every single step of what I do for my live streams and show you guys. Actually shows it. Oh, that's the reason it's in here, but I don't have the banner displayed there yet. So if I go, like, I still have my old banners from Stadia Super Saturday. So, and I had a giveaway that already been claimed. So that's all through the magic of that window being captured in OBS. And I just crop it down to this. So if I click on this, for example, and I stretch it out, no, not this way. If I stretch this out, you should see like everything else that's over in my OBS. So I just hold out, crop it down, and you don't see it anymore. Now you just have a clean banner from OBS, from StreamYard that shows in OBS. So it's actually something I got on Rock did a video about this, and I picked it up from him. So how's it going, Spectrum and Squid? Yo, DrSpaceman in chat, finally free. Yeah, you finally done your day's work. That's nice. That will be awesome to watch when I try using Windows Capture on Streamlabs. It always freezes after a few seconds for some reason. Yeah, I tried using Streamlabs once. I thought it, as much as Streamlabs gives you a lot of options, and there was actually like some limitation on it because there's some paywall for some of the features if you want to activate some of the stuff. While the standard OBS, like showing you guys the window like this here, if I zoom it, it does something trippy there. But if you look at like those on the side, I added myself. I'm not sure if you can do this in Streamlabs. OBS, you can do this. It's just like some docs that you add to see your chat window from YouTube. For example, you can add one on there, and you got all the controls down here. So it's not as well finished as Streamlabs OBS, but I'm gonna take this off. That code is no longer working. If you guys were trying it, by the way, it was for Bomberman R online, and it was already claimed. So yeah, compared to Streamlab, OBS is much more bare bones, so it's not as user friendly. But once you start playing with it, there's actually more you can accomplish with it. You can put in any feature that you want. You just have to do some technical know-how. And we got a new subscriber, François Castonguay. Nice seeing you here. Bienvenue dans mon canal YouTube. To speak a bit of French here. So, what are some games that you've picked up so far for Black Friday sale? I can say I went immediately for Star Wars. Did I buy any other game for Black Friday? I'm gonna have to refresh this. Frozen for some reason. Is it my mouse wheel? Oh. Okay. So, for Black Friday sale, I did that I had a while ago. I did pick up Doom 64, Jedi Fallen Order. Just looking through the games, there's another one. No, those are actually the only two games I bought part of the sales. I bought Marvel's Avengers when it just came out. François m'a envoyé un super chat pour mon Rickroll. Nice. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like, you were doing the things like, it's gonna be a Rickroll, it's gonna be a Rickroll. I started typing, never gonna give you up, and it came on. It's like, okay, it's really funny. It almost got me. Well, you had me at the beginning, and right before I was like, no, I feel like that's gonna be a Rickroll. Really good job. If you guys haven't seen it, Eddie Player One really did a good one on us. Yeah, that was epic, indeed, Squid. So yeah, Doom 64 is really hard to pass on because it was like $2-3. And Jedi Fallen Order, if you haven't, and if it's still on sale, it's a definite purchase. The game is amazing. It's like a lot of people are comparing it to Sekiro, and visually it actually looks a bit like that, but it looks much easier though. But I'm playing on hard difficulty, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, you reflect the blasters from the troopers shooting at you. You Yeah, the fights, like, you'll have some troopers shooting rockets at you. I haven't been able to return the rockets to them yet using the force, but there's a bunch of things you can do in the game that, depending on what enemies that you're fighting, you have to react in proportion to that. So it's a really well made game, and the fact that it's made by EA and they brought it to Stadia so well made. It's like, it's not in 4K, it's 1080p upscaled to 4K, but it's gorgeous. It just looks really good. The graphics are amazing. So I strongly recommend this game. And it's like, some of the guys in the community were saying that they played it on Xbox Series S and on Stadia, and that it looks better on Stadia. It's much smoother. It's just so good on Stadia. Picked up 2 sequels to Tomb Raider, and of course Fallen Order. Yeah, I get you there, little tortilla boy. Uh, Tomb Raider, I got the first 2. Shadow of the Tomb Raider still haven't purchased. Uh, I'm gonna wait until I actually play the first 2 before doing it. Played part of the first one. I loved it, but it's now part of the cursed backlog. Like, there's so many games on Stadia that you start playing one, you get up to a certain point, and there is some other more interesting game coming out that you have to play now. So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna stop for a few days, and then a few days becomes a few months, and you got a backlog. So yeah, Fallen Order is just amazing indeed. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of games that we get on Stadia that are just good. Like, sorry about this. So if you just look at my library, like these games, just tried this one again. Not really my type. Panzer Dragoon. Nah. I got Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Amazing. Mortal Kombat 11. I won a copy of the Aftermath collection when there was the crowd choice beta that the guys were doing, and they were given like a shit ton of codes. I actually snagged one of them, and it was the fastest I ever did a copy paste claim confirm. All that within about a second and a half. Because I had done it like a few times. I think it was like the sixth code for that stream, and it was like the second or third stream I was looking at trying to get one of these codes. And man, they were going fast. But I was able to get one of them, and the game's really amazing. I'm not really good at Mortal Kombat, but it's a really good game. So, yeah, really happy about this one. So, yeah, there's a bunch of pro games in there, like Human Fall Flat and all this. Oh, and I also picked up Doom 2016. Like this one, I love the music. Don't like the music in Doom Eternal, but Doom, the music is good. Doom Eternal is another issue totally. They totally ruined the music by having like the composer took too long to finish his soundtrack, and then one of the studio execs just picked it up and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna throw something together, and hired a guy. They they plugged everything together, but it's not balanced out. The time signatures are all broken down, and it doesn't work. I tried it a bit, and the music was bugging me way too much, so I got it reimbursed. Like 70% of my Stadia games are free, and I have like 45 games now. Yeah. Yeah, I got a few more games, but yeah, I got pro titles like crazy. Uh Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a pretty good game. Very gorgeous on Stadia. Red Dead Online is actually Stadia is the best place to play Red Dead Online because it's so stable. Baldur's Gate 3, really amazing title. Still in production, still early, still rough around the edges for some stuff. Yeah, Meg's like Red Dead Online, yeah. And of course, the demo for Immortals Phoenix Rising is plenty of fun. Division 2, if you guys haven't tried it, it goes on sale ridiculously cheap, at least for the base game. And now the New York Pass is actually pretty cheap. I bought it for like 20 bucks. That's a solid game. Red Dead Online Nationwide Megatron X. Yeah, she loves this game. I like it as well. I need to do more Red Dead Online though. Creta is fun. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is solid. Avengers still needs some work, but it's still a very good story mode. So there's a lot of game like Far Cry 5, super cheap, and it's pretty good. Hope it's sad that it's 30 frame per second, but it's still a good game. Octopath Traveler, a very solid old style RPG, like retro RPG. It looks gorgeous, and it calls back to the 16 bit classic RPGs, but it's gorgeous at the same time. It's in the Unreal Engine. Borderlands 3 is fun. More on the controller though. Mouse and keyboard. It's another 30 frame per second game, so it kind of creates a bit of a drag. Bunch of pro titles. So there's a big library there. Amber, Wave Break, very hard game to play. So yeah, lower it goes like Final Fantasy 15. A lot of fun. But yeah, the backlog is real on Stadia. Just Dance 2020. And so we have so many games on that system, and there's 400 more in production right now. That is crazy. Red Dead on Stadia doesn't have a mass hacker issue like on PC or console. That is like in one of the best argument for Stadia. No hacking. And it's not just for playing, it's for developers as well. It's one of the things that Splash Damage talked about. They did an interview not too long ago. I can't remember with who, But they talked about their experience working on Stadia and the amount of money and time they've saved, because normally when you're developing for another platform, whichever it is, you have to think about possible implementation of the game for like if you're doing it on Xbox and it might go to PlayStation, but also you might think about doing a version for mobile and then for computer and all kind of version. And they said doing it for Stadia, what's fun about it is that Stadia goes on everything. So by bringing the game, like it's a Stadia exclusive, they agreed to make it a Stadia exclusive. But one of the things they like is that you can play Stadia on your TV, on your computer, on your phone. So they're not even thinking about trying to get a game on other systems. They're fine with it being available on Stadia and only Stadia, because Stadia is everywhere. So, and when they were talking about this, it just made me think like, are we seeing like Splash Damage actually integrating Google's games and entertainment, Stadia games and entertainment for further titles? Because they like the idea of just doing the game once for one system and you can play it on whatever you want. And the other things that we're talking about is security issue when you're making a game and you're either doing like just like beta testing or you're releasing the game. I don't think they talked about beta testing. That's some other studio that talked about it. But you're releasing the game, you give access to people to all the codes in the game. The what like people go data mining all the time. You also give the possibility for people to hack your game, and especially for like four versus four game, 4v4 like Outcasters is. If you have cheaters on there, it'll break your game. Like Destiny 2, that's one of the things they've been trying to resolve lately. I know a lot of people who are big fans of Destiny 2 who stopped doing PvP because there's too many cheaters. And I told them about Stadia, but they're like PC Master Race, and I don't care about Stadia. Couldn't get through to them, and I don't think I'll ever be able to these guys. Maybe eventually, once like if Cyberpunk looks the way it does, maybe they'll start listening. But until then, like they just give me a blind ear whenever I talk about Stadia. But yeah, a lot of people stop playing PvP on Destiny 2 because of the cheaters, which is not a problem on Stadia. So your whole infrastructure is actually protected from cheaters and from data theft. Like we know Jam goes in deep dives in the APKs for Stadia to try to find what features will come. Well, that's as far as he can go. The APK for Stadia, like the platform itself, he cannot go into games. So yeah, Stadia files are super well protected. They're in the Stadia servers to be accessed only by the Stadia blades. And that's a real good perk for game developers. So they don't have to do anti-cheat system. They don't have to get more security systems to prevent people from hacking their system. Because if you do an online game on PlayStation or Xbox or any system, and especially on PC, that's one of the things you have to be careful of. You have an online system that has a two-way uh, pass, so you're receiving and sending data. People are actually able to get in this way and access all your data and do whatever they want because you're accepting data from these people. On Stadia, you just have the Stadia blades, and people are accessing the blades, but they're not accessing the software in the blades. So that's a big perk for developers. And of course, there's COVID. COVID happened, got people in isolation everywhere, and it allowed a bunch of developers to carry on their work, even though they were stuck at home, by accessing the Stadia blades. There's one PC Destiny 2 Twitch streamer that goes to Stadia every weekend to play PvP because there are no cheaters and he can play with people from around the world with no lag. Exactly, Chris. The PvP, Stadia PvP is perfect because there's no, everyone is equal on Stadia. There is no advantages of having a better computer because that's also one of the things we see. People playing like games like Fortnite and like those esports that are super popular out there, they will big esports player will reduce the graphics settings just so they can see further, and then they'll get a better frame rates and all of this. But the better your machine, the better you can actually have your resolution, which helps you getting more details in the game. So the better your machine, the more it helps you being better in the game. Stadia, everyone has the same system. So you're taking away that problem. It's democratizing gaming. So you're everyone has the same opportunity to become an esport player on Stadia compared to in the PC world that you need a machine to be able to compete. And little Tortilla Boy, that's 100% true. Many of my friends did indeed quit PvP on my PC for Destiny 2. Exactly. So I'm really eager to try Outcasters because it's going to be a game designed not exactly as an esport, but designed for the same kind of feel as an esport because that game came out of an idea in their cafeteria that were just doing some like was a programming jam that they had of making games within the office, and one of them like had the idea of doing like projectiles that he curved like a bit like Wanted, and did it for little characters, and they tried it out in a cafeteria. It's like, okay, we're gonna try this game, and people got hooked on it so much, and they would come back to that game constantly that they decided to make a game out of it, like an official game, and they signed it with Stadia and made it like toys. So it might be a big success. Imagine Rainbow Six on Stadia and having zero cheaters. Oh my god, absolutely. Or Road Company if it comes to Stadia, and the one of the head of the studio, the VP of High Project Res, High Res Project. Anyway, High Res Studio. Actually mentioned Stadia when talking about future platform they wanted to bring the games to. As for next gen, he said he was asked about next gen platform and he answered with Stadia. So that one's a bit funny and awesome. But yeah, games like these really need a better control for cheaters. And every time these games bring anti-cheating softwares, like they'll install softwares on your computer, people will complain because it's an invasion of privacy. No, the software is only there to see if you have any software in use to improve your performance. Like a guy on Twitch has been as accidentally revealed he was using when as like the window that shows every software running on his computer, the control alt delete window. It just popped on his stream and he didn't even notice it. And it was showing the cheating software he was using while he was boasting that he was so good at aiming and that he killed everyone. So Stadia makes that almost impossible. Some still argue that it's possible to use like what's on screen to do some quick aiming. At that point, you're talking about a pretty intense software for very little help it will give you. So Stadia eliminates cheating. And that's big for video games, for esports, for everything. Because the moment you have cheaters, it's killing your game. As a developer, you're trying to sell a game. If people start cheating on it, people are not enjoying it anymore. So you're losing sales. When they did a crackdown on Destiny 2 on cheaters that were using cheat codes, cheat softwares that were available on the forum, they took down the forum and they started banning people that were registered on the forum for using the software. People started complaining. That's why I like Stadia because of no cheat. Exactly, Holt. Nice to see you here. So they did a crackdown on people using those cheating software, and people were complaining like, "Oh, you're killing our experience. That's why we bought Destiny 2 for to use these software that are making us so much better." It's not making you better. You're cheating. So that's why I stopped playing Call of Duty. I used to love Call of Duty. I was playing on PC before, and that's a long time ago. Like that's was it Black Ops 1 or 2 that I played on PC? The last time I played a Call of Duty. Like I had a bunch of them. I played them one after the other. Then while I was playing online, like I would play some games, would go well, like really well. Some games like I'd end up with like 9 kills in a row, and then okay, I get shot down. So, okay, few kill die. Oh, 4 kills. Okay, kill die, and end up like in the top three of my team, and we massacred the other team. It went super well, but that's one game. Then jump to another. Uh, anyway, another game with other people. I pop on the map, dead. Pop on the map, dead again. Pop on the map, take 3 step, dead. Like 4 out of 5 games at a point, that's what happened. So yeah, whole cheats too much. Ray ain't played Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2 because of cheats. LOL. Yeah. So yeah, cheats are killing video games. So that's why Stadia is so good on the gaming industry. It's doing some good. So yeah, any other things you guys wanted to talk about? I've talked about Cyberpunk plenty at the beginning. If you guys weren't there, if you're just joining, you can always rewind at the end. So, Holt, Ray, I know you're going to do a Street Kid. Holt, are you getting Cyberpunk? And if so, what are you going to play? And with some other people, Eddie wasn't there. Like anyone in the chat right now, what will you play if you get Cyberpunk? Ray, we should settle this. Let's boot up Killzone 2. So you guys gonna play Nomad, Street Kid, or Corpo? That's the question. And so I'm gonna play Corpo. Well, my first character, I'm thinking of playing Corpo, and I'm gonna try to embody Black Widow. So I'm gonna put a leather suit on. I won't put on a leather suit. Playing Nomad, nice. And Street Kid, yeah, knew it right. Ray is a street kid. Got some street smarts. Street kid because started from the bottom. Now we here. Now we here. I honestly have not researched on the factions yet. Maybe I should before the game comes out. It's actually not factions, Chris. It's when you're creating your character, you have to create a backstory. So for the prologue. So I'm gonna explain it to you, even though I did it earlier. But you can either start as a street kid, and that is you grew up in the streets, you survived there within Night City, and you have all kind of connection to the city. You know who to talk to broker some deals, to fend some stuff, and all of that. Yeah, it's a life path. And you have the nomad, which is basically in the world of cyberpunk. It's like post-apocalyptic, and yeah, play. You bring up Mad Max. That's what I was going to talk about. It's a bit like a Mad Max world out there. It's like the outskirts. It's all the desert. It's been destroyed by a war, and there are some people surviving in the outskirts of this city, in the desert, and they got like more sturdy vehicles that they put back together. Like they shimmy up a lot of things, and then you have the corporatives, and these are more elitist portion of the population. They work for big companies that actually own the cops in the city, and they own all the security and all that. And that's where all the big money is. So you can choose whichever 3 lines you want. That's where your character starts, and it'll give you an entirely different prologue story. But there are multiple different gangs. Yeah, the gangs are something else. So that's later in the game. And so at the beginning, you choose your origin story, your life path, and it determines your prologue, the prologue that you're going to play through. So that's like before the first chapter of the game, you have another chapter that you're playing, and that'll depend on which life path you take in. And then throughout the game, depending which one you took, it's going to give you different options, like dialogue options, for example, different romance options, like a certain character. If you're well, they will only date a character from a certain life path, or if you come from a certain life path, they will not like you. Like yeah, become kingpin in Night City. Yo, yeah, yep. Yeah, no problem, man. So yeah, it determines quite a bit on what you can do with interaction with other characters and all of this. But like even Johnny Silverhand, Kenny Reeves, if you choose Corpo, he actually doesn't like you, but he's still stuck with you. But whether you're Nomad or Street Kid, like he'll like you. But if you're Corpo, he'll actually diss you in the game. So that's actually pretty funny. So I might choose Corpo. I might try to make like a Black Widow spy kind of character. So we'll see about this. So, and also Eddie was talking about gangs. That's those are more of the factions. So depending which ones you're getting mixed up with, you have some that use a lot of body modifications, like some will have literally no face and it'll be like a robotic thing they have in the face, and they embrace more the technology. Some will be purists. Some, like if you go at Moxie's, for example, in a game, it's a nightclub that doubles up as a brothel, and you'll actually be helping the girls out to get out of all kind of trouble. So you have all kind of faction you can befriend and do complete quests for in order to gain their trust. My augmentation is going to be awesome blades in my arm. That does look crazy good. I may sway my decision because I like Keanu. Hey, what's up, William? What's up, DrSpaceman? I'm starting as a corpo. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I want to start as a corpo at first. Make a Black Widow-esque character, female corpo. But I will play all of them eventually at one point. I heard there's going to be multiplayer. Yes. Maybe some PvP. Probably. I think that's what they're aiming for. Or maybe some four-player PvE missions. That I don't know, but it might be possible. What's going on with this is I think they're looking tentatively at 2022 for that. And it's made actually by a different development team. It's not the same one that made Cyberpunk 2077. And they hired another team to start working on the multiplayer portion for that. And the reason is because I don't know if you guys played The Witcher 3, but at one point when you finish the game, you also have some DLC that you can play, like Blood and Wine and I think a Heart of Stone. Or there's a few DLC available, and they are humongous. They're very big DLCs. So if you that came out after The Witcher 3 came out and was a lot of work. I think one of the DLC actually won the prize of Game of the Year because it was so good. It was adding so much story that they counted it as an actual game. And they announced that it will do the same with Cyberpunk. They want to release Cyberpunk, and once the game is out and they iron out all the bugs, they're starting to work on the DLC for the game, which will probably be as big as Cyberpunk 2077 itself. So that'll be crazy. So for that reason, they wanted to start to do work on PvP. And because they don't have the resources, they hired another development studio to start working on this using the resources of Cyberpunk 2077. But it will be an entirely different game. So I'll just catch up on the chat here. Me too, but dude, going to try and complete missions in strange ways. Yeah, that's that's part of the game. You can complete mission in all kind of different path. I think I'll start at a human purist and just see how I will get treated. Yeah, I actually want to do a nomad that's human purist at one point, like that doesn't want to get modifications, and I feel like nomad would be perfect for that. Witcher 3 DLC was amazing indeed. Yeah, Witcher 3 was one of my favorite. What an excellent game, super long and super interesting. That's the thing. They made so much DLC for it. It's actually whole different game, but in the same game. Going in to have two girlfriend, one in the day, one in the night. Witcher 3 DLC. You will cyborg tech in the junk department. Okay, that's us PG 13. Okay, have they confirmed any cloud specific features for Cyberpunk? Not yet, sadly. So it's still very early to say. They might at one point start implementing some things, but at the moment, just getting the game. They've been doing so much games that it doesn't need specific cloud aspects other than you don't need to download it, but they actually managed to make it in a very small amount of data, which is crazy. So you just keep adding on the junk department. So where was I? So yeah, there was the different factions that you're actually gonna gain their trust by making missions for them. One of the devs actually shared that he was 170 hours deep in the game and still didn't finish. And that's just in the main game. There's no DLC made for it yet. They haven't announced any DLC, and they won't until the game's at least out and stabilized. So yeah, they got their main team working on the game, and I will work on more story for the game. And then the PvP or multiplayer aspect will be a totally different title that will be probably implemented in the main one. I don't know if they'll charge us for the PvP portion. All right, I just ordered Cyberpunk Jigsaw Puzzle. I hope it arrived before the game so I can do a building live stream before December 10th. That's nice. Jigsaw Puzzle. Can you DM me that on Twitter? Want to see that. I hope my Witcher 3 saves transfer to next gen. I actually did a video speculating that Witcher 3 might be coming to Stadia. I don't know if it's accurate, but I do think that they have nice collaboration with CD Projekt Red at the moment. I don't see why the game would not come to Stadia. The port for Stadia for Cyberpunk went really well according to the devs. It's literally the PC version. They brought it to Stadia. Of course, they had to do a few things to make it work, but they had collaboration from the engineers over at Stadia that went to help in the game. And apparently, it went really well. Sorry, speech to tech is failing me. Oh, possible. I didn't even know it was active right now, but makes sense. Might just be my French accent. Mm. Oh, Eddie sent me a photo. Probably the jigsaw puzzle. Just gonna look at this. Ooh, that's looking nice. I don't know if you guys, you guys won't see well. Yeah, I got some color corrections on that and all. But actually, you can load it up on here. Yeah, that's looking really good. You should be able to complete that in time. There's not too many pieces, man. Ah, that's nice. Uh, no, DrSpaceman, my speech to text. Okay, you mean to write in? No problem. Uh, Game was gang. Oh, okay, yeah, from your previous decks. Okay, makes sense. Ray, did you pick your day and night girlfriend from the Cyberpunk book? Yeah, I'm really psyched because I actually asked for December 10th and 11th off a job at work, and I did get the approval, so I'll be off for those 2 days. And it's coming out the evening before, right at the time that I can normally start streaming. That'll be fun. Actually, it's bigger than that, but I foresee a 5 to 7 hour build. Nice. Oh, that's cool. It'll be an amazing game. It'll be so much content. Like we're talking about 170 hours, and he's not even done with the story mode. And they haven't released the DLC, which will probably be as big as the game, and there will be a multiplayer portion to the game. There'll be no end to the game. It'll be so big. Anyway, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk other than Cyberpunk for tonight? If not, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Been an hour and a half since I started this live stream. So, am I on low latency? Oh, I'm on low latency and not ultra low. Black Friday sales were so good I had to snatch up a gaming chair and another monitor. Nice. Actually, I have a very neat monitor here. The MSI Optics Mag 321 CQR, 32 inches curve and 144 hertz, 1440p, less than a millisecond latency. I'm good for a while. Are you making this kind of discussion a segment of on your channel, like DrSpaceman's Cloud Space Talk Law? I've actually been thinking of including a open mic section in my channel for a while. Been hesitating because it does require a bit of confidence to just go to the microphone like this and with a camera in front of you and just talk to a microphone. But then you guys come on the chat and it's amazing. It just goes really well. Can actually take off the headphones. I'm not listening to anyone talking. So yeah, it does require a bit of confidence, which I didn't have before, but now I'm feeling better and better about my streams. So I might actually, if you guys like it, might start doing that more often, get more comfortable with it, and eventually, who knows, I might actually find a theme music that I'll like to add. Yeah, background music, exactly, Eddie. Add a nice background music, it'll helps. It's exactly what I was thinking as I started streaming. It's like, yeah, that's right. I wanted to look for some background music that won't get me like a block from YouTube. No rights on it. I've been looking a bit around, but couldn't find anything that I really felt was calling me. But I'll keep looking. I'll find something. Yeah, just caught the end, but I think Doctor will be successful at whatever he tries. Thanks, William. Thanks, Grizz. Think I'm doing well. So I will probably add this. I don't know if it'll still be on the Saturday nights. Stream beats on Spotify. Oh, I'll look at it. So yeah, I might integrate the open mic in my schedule. Maybe do like maybe around hour and a half. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. Seeing how you guys respond to it, but response seems pretty good right now. A lot of people in the chat. So I am gonna wrap it up for tonight. If you guys have any comments, any suggestion, I'm open. You can leave a comment below, or you can send me a DM on Twitter. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me tonight. It was an experience and a fun one. So I guess for sure I'm gonna do this again. Might try to come up with a regular schedule. So this is DrSpaceman. Have a good evening.